All right, you guys, here we go. We are on day 11 of our chapter 9, unit 9, and today we are talking about this thing called the quadratic formula. It is this formula right here. I know that looks kind of messy and ugly and scary, but first of all, I'm going to teach you about this thing called A, B, and C. And I also dare you to pause this video and find one video on either YouTube or TikTok that is a song or a rap called the quadratic formula. Okay, we'll watch one of my favorites in class, but this is an actual pretty legit, like, famous formula that helps you solve stuff that you can't factor and you can't complete the square for very easily. So what I'm going to talk about is I'm actually going to skip all of this discriminant stuff. I want to talk about this in class when I'm back. So I'm going to skip all this stuff about discriminant and I'm going to go all the way down to this problem. Number 5. So skip way down. I skipped all the stuff about the discriminant, and we are going to just talk about how to do the quadratic formula for this problem. So first thing you need to know is that the number that is with the x squared is referred to as a. It's the number that's in front of x squared, okay? So whatever this number is a. As you can see here, the b is going to be a -5. That's the number that's with the x. We refer to them as A, B, and C, okay? And remember we talked in class about what this number called the constant is? It's the number that's not attached to an x. That's called the constant, and we're going to use letter C for that. So this is the very first thing that you're going to do, is you're going to figure out what is the number that goes with the x squared, and that's called 1. What is the number that goes with the x, and that's called the b, which is -5. And what is the constant term? That is the -6. So that's the first thing. And now we have this giant formula, which I will recopy from the first page of this notes, of the day 11 notes. And it is called x equals -b plus or minus giant square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. And so this is literally as simple as I am going to do my a. My a is a 1. That means that I'm putting in a 1 right there and a right there. I'm literally plugging in a bunch of numbers. Okay, the b is -5, so where do I have a b? Right here and right here. And last but not least, my c is -6. The c goes right here. So I am going to plug in all of those numbers, and then I'm going to simplify whatever I can. So I still have x equals negative, let's see, the b was -5. Yes, that's a double negative, and yes, that will change to a plus positive. Be careful about that. Now I have this giant square root, and the first thing that goes first is the b squared, and the b is -5, so I'm going to write -5 squared minus 4. The a is 1. A, and the c is -6. All over 2 times, let's see, the a is 1. I'm going to put a 1 there. Now I just need to simplify this whole thing. This might be the hardest part. I think I'll probably bring graphing calculators in for you so that you can be able to type this very carefully into the calculator. But first of all, what I'm going to do, this double negative right here is just a positive. So I'm going to change it into a +5. And then inside the square root, what we're going to do is we're actually going to, in the calculator, we're going to do -5 squared. And I am going to use parentheses around it because when you square a negative, it becomes +25. And I'm going to do -4 times 1 times -6. -4 times 1 is just -4. Times -6 actually makes a +24. And the denominator here, 2 times 1, that's just 2. So now I'm going to simplify that even more. I still have this 5 hanging out right here. Still have my plus minus. I am going to combine my 25 and my 24. That makes 49. And I still have the 2 in the denominator. And do you know what radical 49 is? Isn't that just 7? Okay, I'm running out of room. Don't worry. First thing I'm going to do is 5 plus 7, which gives me 12 over 2. And the second thing I'm going to do is 5 minus 7, which is -2 over 2. And both of those reduce. 12 over 2 is 6. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1. Those are my final answers. These are pretty long problems, kind of like the step-by-step recipe that we did when we were doing this thing called completing the square on the previous page. This is called the quadratic formula, and it is a giant formula that you literally just plug numbers into, and then you have to be really careful when you are doing your simplifying. I'll do a couple more, but let me show you this formula. I just want to re-point that out where it is. It's right here. The song that I learned when I was in high school is to the tune of the song Chain Hang Low, if you know that jam. It goes do 2a hang low under negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac. If you practice that quadratic, you would know it automatic. Do 2a hang low. Anyways, we'll watch that video. Don't you guys worry about it. Let me try another one. I kind of ran out of room. Let me try number 7. I don't know what this is going to look like on your paper if this is cut off like mine is, but this means that my a is 1. Remember, the number that's with the x squared is just 1. This means my b is 2, and this means my c is also 2. Okay, so the number that's with the x squared, which in this case is a 1, that's the a. The number that's with the x is b, and the number that's by itself, the constant, is the c. I think I have that up here all the way at the beginning of the notes also. Here they are. You see how it has an a with the x squared and a b with the x, and a c is all by itself with no x? That's your a, b, and c. And that is exactly how I'm getting my a, b, and c for this problem. Now I'm going to do x equals, the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. And so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in my numbers. So let's look at the a. The a is 1. That's going to go there and there. Let's see, the b is 2. That's going to go there and there. And the c is 2, and that's going to go there. So I literally just have to plug those numbers in, you guys. So I have x equals, let's see, negative, this sign is a negative, and b is 2. So I'm putting in a 2, plus or minus the square root of 2 squared minus 4. Let's see, a is 1, and c is 2, all over 2 times 1. Where did I get those numbers, and why did I go so fast? Let me recap. See how it says b squared? Well, b is 2. So I plugged in 2 and keep the square. The negative 4, that minus 4 is in the formula, but next comes a, which is 1, so that's why I put a 1 here. And the next thing is c, which is 2, which is why I put a 2 here. And the denominator is 2 times a. A is 1, so I have 2 times 1. Now I just need to simplify this thing, okay? So I still have my negative 2 in the front, but let's talk about what's inside the square root here. I have 2 squared, which is 4. And I have negative 4 times 1 times 2, which gives me negative 8. 4 times 1 times 2 is 8, and keep this negative sign here. And in the denominator, I have 2 times 1, which is just 2. Okay, so what I can do is I can combine these numbers inside the square root. 4 minus 8, I know how to do that. And I'm pretty sure all I did is I combined 4 minus 8 and got negative 4. Kept everything else the same. I'm pretty sure that I can use what I used to do with square roots, and I can like bring out the I, right? And square root of 4 actually breaks down. So the I is going to come out, and I'm going to get square root of 4. Oh, but wait. What is square root of 4? It's 2, right? So I'm going to actually change that to 2 with an I. Okay, so I know how to square root of 4. It's 2, and since it's negative, that's why I have the I. And don't forget this 2 in the denominator. And let me show you something pretty cool about reducing. I don't know if you've ever heard of this thing called the heart method. You have to reduce in the method of a heart. So you're only allowed to cancel 2's and stuff if it cancels from all of them. So basically what I can do is I can take my negative 2 divided by 2, which gives me negative 1. I'm keeping this plus or minus right in the middle, and I have to also cancel this direction. So this is called the heart method. When there's one number in the denominator and 2 numbers in the top, you have to reduce all 3 of them. So divide this by 2, which gives me negative 1. Negative 2 over 2 is negative 1, and then 2 over 2 cancels to just 1i. And the denominator is just 1. Divide this number, this number, this number all by 2. This becomes a 1, this becomes a 1, this becomes a 1. And as you know, dividing by 1 doesn't do anything, so I'm actually not even going to write that part. This is my final answer. Why can I not combine those like I did in the first problem? In this case, these were both whole numbers. That was a 5 and that was a 7, so I am actually allowed to add those together. In this case, this is a -2 and this is a 2i. Those are different because of the I, so you actually cannot combine those together. So just reduce it and leave it like that. Let me do one more, you guys. Oh, look, there's the heart method. Interesting. Let's talk about this one. I've got A equaling 3, I have B equals -8, and I have C equals 1. Okay, make sure that you keep the signs with it. This is a -8, so that's why the B is -8, okay? So I'm going to recopy my formula. X equals -b plus or minus big square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2 times a. Yes, I sing that to myself every single time I write it. Anyways, negative, let's see, what's the b? This sign is here, but b is -8, so that's going to be a double negative. I'll change it in a second. Let's see, b squared. What is b again? It's -8 squared. And what is the a? The a is 3, so I'm going to plug in a 3 there. And what is the c? The c is 1, so I'm going to plug in a 1 there. Divided by 2 times the a is, the a is 3. It's 2a in the bottom, and remember a is 3. So again, you don't have to highlight these if you don't want to, but I think it helps. The A, that goes there and there. That's why I plugged in a 3 everywhere you see those spots. I have a B, which is -8. That went right there and right there. And I have a C, which is 1, and that went right there. So I'm just plugging in all of these numbers to this formula, which gives me this, and now I just have to simplify it. So I have X equals, I'm going to cancel this double negative. That's going to change to a +8. And when I do -8 times -8, when I'm squaring it, remember when you square a negative, you get +64. And let's see, let me do this. -4 times 3 times 1, that makes -12. Check me in the calculator if you want to. You're doing -4 times 3 times 1. So that's -12. And then in the bottom, 2 times 3, there's a 6 down there. Okay, so I'm going to keep the 8 and the plus minus, but I think I can combine these numbers. 64 minus 12 makes 52. And I still have that 6 in the bottom. Let me see if I can break down 52. It's 2 and 26, which makes 2 and 13. Interesting. I found a group of 2. 13 does not break down anymore, so it's going to have to stay like that. So I'm going to write 8 plus minus. Let's see, what number came out? The 2 came out. This 13 has to stay in. I just broke down my radical sideways. And I still have this 6 in the bottom. And now let's see if we can reduce using the heart method. I can divide all 3 of those numbers by 2. So if I divide the 8 by 2, I get 4. If I divide the 2 by 2, I get 1. Don't really need the 1, but I'm going to put it there anyway. And if I divide the 6 by 2, I get 3. There's my final answer, okay? That is just practice using this really weird, long, complicated, scary-looking formula by just plugging numbers in and then simplifying. The only thing that you're going to have to remember how to do from previous stuff is how to break down radicals, okay? That's enough for right now. See if you can work your way through a couple more examples, and we will talk about all the discriminant stuff tomorrow, okay? So don't worry about any type of discriminant. I just want to see these answers using this formula. See how you do, okay? Ask for questions. Love you guys.